Alright, now, you're gonna lean right into that stock, because it is gonna kick a hell of a lot more than any baby rifle.
Okay.
Go and pull the bolt back. Grab it right there. Just tug it. There you go. And as soon as you fire, you're gonna want to get another round in there quick. Listen to me. If I get into trouble down there, you make every shot count. Yeah?
I got this.
All right. And just so we're clear about back there, it was either him or me.
You're welcome.
Wow. The Last of Us is beautiful, from its gorgeous landscape design to its engaging story. The Last of Us is an amazing game. No, an experience. One that, while it has its own share of nitpicks here and there, it's an experience that you won't want to miss. The Last of Us is made by Sony's exclusive studio Naughty Dog, the masterminds behind great PlayStation titles like Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, and now The Last of Us. The Last of Us takes place 20 years after an infectious fungus spreads across the world, turning those infected into zombie-like creatures. Those that are infected don't die from the infection, but rather get taken over by a fungi creating monsters such as runners or clickers, but we'll dig into the infected later. In The Last of Us, you play as Joel, a man given the task to take a 14-year-old girl named Ellie across the country. I'll leave the reasons behind this journey up to you to find out. The relationship between Joel and Ellie is remarkable. I don't think I've felt this close to a video game character since last year's The Walking Dead by Telltale Games. I need to protect Ellie at all costs. Her funny yet badass personality is fantastic. She also has a sense of innocence because she was born during the apocalypse. Girls having to worry about boys or what to wear that day, this is all new to her. She grew up in a completely different world. The gameplay in The Last of Us is so much fun. You control Joel in a third-person shooter environment. You constantly have to sneak past the infected or take them head-on. The way you deal with them is your choice, but you have to choose wisely. If you decide to take them head-on, you'll have to take into account your weapons and your ammo. Ammo is scarce. This is an apocalypse after all. Aside from that, you can craft items such as bombs, health packs, or Molotov cocktails to use in combat. However, when you craft these items, you craft them in real time, so when you decide to craft them, choose wisely. If you're in the middle of a battle, find a safe place to hide, craft, then go back into combat, or get prepared right before you enter an area with the infected. If you choose the way of stealth, you can use bottles or bricks to create distractions for the infected, sneak up to them and take them down one by one. Having the ability to choose and not having stealth missions shoved down my throat is just one of the many reasons why I love this game. The infection has different stages. When one begins to turn, they're called runners. They run after you head on and attack. Stalkers are the next stage. They are a form of runners, and the next stage, which is clickers. Clickers are the next stage. They lose their sense of sight, but then they use sound to find their location or their surroundings, sort of like sonar. They're deadlier than runners or stalkers, but they can easily be distracted with breaking of bottles or bricks. Then there's bloaters. The fungus has almost completely covered the person's body, making them have an armor of basically mushrooms. The bloaters are also much stronger and decently fast. They have a mid-range attack where they spit spores at you, and the more you're in these spores, the more damage they do. Finally, when the infection has completely taken over, those that are infected go to the corner of a building and die. Then their sores or their fungi completely take over that part of the building or wall, and they just spread and release spores. At this point, you'll have to wear a gas mask to just survive in this environment. It's fun, but it'll be certainly a challenge for you. You'll constantly die, you'll constantly have to replay certain fights or levels, but overall, I really enjoyed the campaign, and I'm greatly happy with how it turned out. The overall story was emotional, horrifying, and everything I wanted it to be, all in a single package that I just love to play. I constantly want to progress through the story, just want to get a level done already, just so I could hear what happens next. Certainly during most parts of the game, I was on the edge of my seat just waiting for the outcome of what was happening. However, the game isn't perfect. There's some technical difficulties and hiccups with the AI. At one point I actually got stuck in a bathroom stall while fighting an infected and I had to restart my game. There was no way out. There's also points in the game where I'm fighting or meleeing an infected and suddenly the character model I'm fighting disappears midway stabbing or killing. There's just occasional technical hiccups that kind of drift away from the experience, but overall I still had a blast playing this game. Now there's no way in ignoring this. The Last of Us doesn't only feature a campaign mode, but of course it features a multiplayer mode, and while it may not be as great as a single player mode, I actually did find myself enjoying it. There's two modes in the multiplayer mode. There's survival and team deathmatch. Like Team Deathmatch suggests, you're on a team and you play until time runs up, higher score wins. However, my personal favorite mode in the multiplayer mode is the other one, Survivor mode. Whichever team survives wins, meaning whenever you die, you don't come back. I like this sense. I like having the one life feature. It makes it more engaging. It makes staying alive much more important. During the multiplayer mode, you still have the sense of gameplay you would in the single player mode, except instead of having AI opponents, you now have real life people across the net. I felt that the size of each map fit right into place with the multiplayer mode. Across the maps there are little points where there's different supplies or crafting items stored in there. You can get these items, create bombs, just like you would in the single player mode, but now you're playing against real life people, so it adds more strategic elements to the multiplayer mode. There's also a metadata system, but I really didn't pay too much attention to it because it just didn't stand out. There's no real attachment to the metadata. You don't feel like you need to go get food while you're in this match because your team is getting hungry or something. There is not much of an attachment to that. The Last of Us is a fantastic game, and it's certainly one experience you don't want to miss. Of course it has its own share of flaws, but nothing nonetheless that ruins the experience completely. If you have the chance, definitely check out The Last of Us. It's a fantastic game and I highly recommend it. For more on The Last of Us, including the full written review and the final score I gave the game, check out the link in the description below for the full written review or visit gamingvlog.net.